Greetings, redheads. Thank you for joining me in another episode of your favorite show, the one, the only Reds View. Of course, I am your gracious host, the one and only J Red. Before I begin this video, make sure that you do me a favor, subscribe to youtube.com/RedsView. It's going across your screen right now, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you do that. Also, please do me a favor and then go over to my other channel, youtube.com/at Who Gave You a Podcast. I got that podcast going on with CJ. Shout out to Laker for Life. You just found out that we had that podcast, man. I'm telling you, that podcast is blowing up. It's getting hot like fish grease. I'm gonna share some stuff with y'all a little later about what's been going on with that. But we got some stuff to talk about. We have some stuff to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. But like I said, before I begin, hit that subscribe button or hit the like button or dislike button. It's all good. So I need all of the Barty fans, Cardi B fans. I need all the Nicki fans, which are the Barbs, the Barty gang, and the Barbs. I need all of y'all to come in right now because we got some stuff to talk about. Now, of course, you've been seeing in the news, all on Twitter, even if you don't follow these women, Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, even if you don't follow them, you've been seeing this all over the timelines, everywhere, outlets, everything. So Cardi and Nicki are beefing yet again, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. They're going back and forth, trading death blows to each other. I'm talking about below the belt, below the buckle. They are going in like the depths of hell. They're going to the depths of hell, dissing each other. Kids are being dissed. They're talking about fertility issues. They're talking about kids that are special needs and all this other stuff. And I'm not going to go back and forth reading everything because honestly, I don't want that in my spirit. I didn't even share what these women were saying to each other, but it's more than jabs. These were just like I said, death blows. Nicki's talking about Cardi's kids. Cardi's talking about Nicki's kids and all this other stuff, right? I'm going to share my opinion about how I feel about everything, as far as Nicki and everything like that is. But this is what I want to say, all right? Nicki and Cardi need to either battle or shut the hell up. Nicki and Cardi need to either do a battle or just shut up. That's it. It's beyond tweets. It's beyond all of that stuff. Either you're going to fight or shut up. Nicki Minaj and Cardi B either need to fight or battle or shut up. That's it. Because there's only so many tweets that you can take. There's only so much tweeting and talking that you can do. Cardi said multiple times, like, I'm done with this, but then comes back and you talk about my kids, and it's just a big clusterfuck. But I just want you to picture this. What if we got a rap battle between Cardi B and Nicki Minaj? Do you know how big that would be? Now, we had the biggest rap battle of all time last year with Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Can you imagine if either Cardi or Nicki went into the studio and made a record dissing the other one, and we got like a battle between the two of them? How big that would be. This would have the potential. Yeah, it ain't no potential. This would be the biggest female rap battle. I think the only like famous female rap battle of all time. Like, I'm trying to think of some more female rap battles. Now, we've heard of like females, they've had diss records, you know what I'm saying? But like a battle back and forth, like on some Drake and Kendrick type of stuff, Nas and Jay-Z type of stuff, I don't think that's ever really been done before. Like Remy Ma put out Sheether, and there have been, numerous diss tracks out, but it's never been just a battle. But I'm curious to see if Cardi would take it. And I know Cardi, so she's pregnant for one. She just released this album for two. And she's probably not thinking about making music. She wants to fight Nicki. Okay. I know it's past the music and all this other stuff, but she actually wants to fight Nicki. But I think that she could monetize off of this situation if she goes ahead and just throw some bars, throw a diss track out there. You know what I'm saying? Nicki claims to be the best. All of her fans say that she's the best and everything like that. Okay, prove it. This is my whole thing. How about y'all prove who is the best? What are y'all really beefing over? How did it start? Okay. Now I'll go into how I feel about Miss Onika Mirage and all this other stuff. But I'm just talking about face value just of everything that's been transpiring for the past few years and all this other stuff. Wouldn't y'all like to see a battle between the both of them? Because they're not, let's be real, they're not going to fight each other. They're not going to fight each other. Cardi's ready to fight, but Nicki is not going to fight Cardi B, nor would I expect her to. Nicki, they already had a little scuffle, at the Met Gala some years ago, where Cardi ended up with the knot on her head and everything like that. But Nicki was talking about some pull up, where you at? That's not gonna happen. Nicki is not gonna fight Cardi B. If you would ask me who would win in a fight, I would probably go with Cardi B, because Cardi B is an industry like that. She's ready to fight, ready to scrap. So if you're thinking that they're going to magically meet up and fight each other, those are two of the wealthiest women in America. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? It's not going to be no boxing match. It ain't going to be nothing like that. Cardi wants to fight Nicki so bad, but you're not going to catch Nicki anywhere, because a celebrity like Nicki Minaj ain't just going to be walking on the streets. So that's not going to happen. So since is not going to happen, since that's not going to happen, we should get bars. Do the culture justice and just go ahead and just make some bars. You can put all of your frustration out. Drake was called a pedophile last year. They're calling Nicki Minaj's husband a pedophile. So that means that nothing is off limits. Nothing's off limits. Y'all been talking about each other's kids. I think that it's time for a rap battle. And I think that this will be a marquee matchup. This will be just huge, because see, the thing is, when Remy Ma dissed Nicki Minaj, right? That was arguably the hardest female rap diss song, or I ain't even gonna just say that, one of the hardest diss songs, period, in hip hop, male or female, right? But Remy's status wasn't as big as Nicki Minaj's status was. Remy was kind of making hits a little bit with Fat Joe, but she wasn't nearly on the same level as a Nicki Minaj. So Nicki, her fans really didn't look for a diss track, and she didn't have the status like Nicki Minaj. But Cardi B has the status of Nicki Minaj. Cardi B has the status, she has the presence, she has the sales and all this other stuff. So this would be her match. Now, when I say rap battle, I know that Cardi would use writers, but so did Drake, allegedly. Okay. Nicki claims to be the best, claims to still have these bars, and her fans say that she's the best and all this other stuff. All right. Well, it's time to prove it. Why don't you prove it? Why don't you prove that you're the queen? Prove that you're the best. Okay. Now, how did all this start, man? How did all this start? I just want to say this, man. I think Nicki Minaj is bizarre. And not only do I think Nicki Minaj is bizarre, but what's worse than Nicki Minaj being bizarre is her fan base, the Barbs. I'm calling y'all out. Yes. Y'all barbs are very disturbing. And let me tell you why. This whole beef of the battle, like back and forth and all this Twitter stuff, this came because the Barbs stirred this up and Nicki fell into it. That's where it started. I blame the Barbs. Now, of course, a lot of people say that Nicki takes drugs allegedly and all that. I'm not even going there. But I sat back and watched it. And one thing that Nicki's fans, all the Barbs, are saying is that Cardi started it, because Cardi said this. She was insinuating this. She dissed Nicki on A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That was a diss to Papa Bear, Nicki's child. All of that is cap. Listen, all that's cap. This was started by the Barbs because they read into too much of what Cardi was doing. They were comparing sales. They claimed that Cardi said that she was going to outsell Nicki and all this. And I don't remember hearing none of that. They compared and contrast. Okay. And the whole thing is they wanted Cardi to flop so hard that they were watching her sales, watching her. And this is so stupid to me. Let me talk about this. The whole 200,000 the first week versus 228K the first week. Is that a big difference? This whole thing of Cardi didn't outsell Nicki from Pink Friday 2. Pink Friday 2 did 228,000 the first week. We're talking about first week sales. Cardi B did 205 28,000 the first week. Is it that much of a difference? So Nicki sold 28,000 more. And see, the thing is, they're saying, oh, well, look at everything what Cardi had to do. Cardi had to go and promote. Cardi had to do guerrilla marketing. She sold her album for like $4.99, the price of a hot dog, and all this other stuff. So she inflated her sales, is what everybody's saying, which is true. But what artist doesn't nowadays? Didn't Nicki do the same thing with Pink Friday too? If I'm not mistaken, Nicki Minaj bundled her stuff with merch and vinyl and all this other stuff too. Because if you take that away, her last album, Queen, didn't even do 200K. And she made a whole big deal about it. So my thing is, why the hell are y'all comparing Cardi sales to Nicki sales? Now, if Cardi actually did come out and say directly, I'm going to sell more than Nicki Minaj, then I would get it. But she didn't. I was watching everything. And don't come on here thinking that I'm Team Barty and all this. I'm unbiased because I didn't start liking Cardi's music until now. Everything before that, you can look at the track record. J Red wasn't a fan of Cardi B. I've always been a Nicki Minaj fan. But you Barbs looked into stuff too much and started talking about sales, and y'all made this. The fans made this a thing, and Nicki fed into it. Nicki fed into it. I just don't understand, like, what's the big deal? I've seen them say that a number one album that sold 205,000 the first week is a flop. In what world is that a flop? That doesn't make any sense. Now, if you're a Drake or something like that, maybe you could look at that as it's low, but it's not a flop. If you do, let me put y'all on game with first week sales, because that's what everybody's concerned about. If you're a major artist and you do 100K on up the first week, that's considered successful. It depends on who you are, because if you're like a super big popular star that does 500K usually, and then you go to 100K, it's a huge decrease. But if you land at number one, it's solid to have six-figure sales the first week, because that looks like you'll be set up for success, whether you're going to go gold or whether you're going to go platinum. But everybody was comparing these metrics and all this other stuff just to say Nicki Minaj sold 28,000 more units than Cardi B. Bravo, Nicki Minaj. And then this whole thing about outselling. Cardi's Invasion of Privacy outsold a lot of Nicki Minaj's albums in totality. I think that thing went 6 times platinum. That sold more than Queen. That sold more than Pink Friday too. So if it's about stunning about sales, shouldn't you count the overall sales? It just doesn't make sense. But let me ask y'all this. Out of a rap battle between Nicki and Cardi, who do you think will win? Who do you think will win? I can tell you this. I believe, even though I'm not a Cardi B fan per se, I like the album she just put out. The difference between Cardi and Nicki is this. Cardi actually makes music that reaches everybody. Cardi makes records that are anthems, street anthems, sex anthems, all this other stuff, and it reaches everybody. It feels like Nicki Minaj's music only reaches her fan base, which is massive, and it's a lot. Nicki's fans, the Barbs, are the only thing that's keeping her relevant at this point, which is good. I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, but when you look at in totality of everywhere, like when Cardi's album came out, that morning when I left my house, as soon as I got in my car, I heard somebody playing it. It feels like Nicki Minaj's Barbs, which is huge numbers. Look at the tour that she did. Sold out arenas, sold out venues. The Barbs are deep out here. But the Barbs are the ones that buy the music, support the music. Don't you know that the Barbs had made sure that Pink Friday 2 actually, like when Cardi's album dropped, they made sure Pink Friday 2 re-entered the iTunes charts. And Nicki had said that, you know what I'm saying? But I just think that out of all of this, what's to gain from it? Because all we see now is Twitter fingers. And I'm not saying I want to see females fight, but I think that we need some bars from Nicki versus Cardi. Settle it on who it was. I thought Lotto was going to be that person to go at Nicki, but Lotto chickened out. All right. And Cardi, if you do this, this could increase your sales, and you could solidify that you're the queen and everything like that. But I just, from my position, I didn't see Cardi starting this. I saw the fans create this narrative that Cardi's trying to compete with Nicki. Now, was Cardi trying to sell as many records as she could? Absolutely. She didn't want to flop. What artists do want to flop? Do I think it's corny that she put those old ass songs whopping up on her album just to not look like she flopped? I think that's the corniest thing out there. Okay. But do I blame her for promoting her album the way that she did? No, not at all. If she want to sell that shit on DoorDash, whatever way works, because we know as artists and as an artist, these streams don't give you a lot of money. Everything is digital now. All is streaming. Now you got physical too, but more than likely somebody might stream your album before buying it. They might purchase it on iTunes before actually buying a CD or a vinyl, because a lot of vinyls are used for decorations. A lot of vinyls are used for decorations, right? So I'm not blaming Cardi for promoting her record. There's nothing wrong with promoting the record. But you barbs are trying to make an argument that 228K is way more than 205K. Y'all are delusional, and you enable Nicki to act a fool. Now, Nicki went on a tirade today, bringing up people, talked about Quavo, talked about Rick Ross, Rock Nation, Desiree Perez, just everything. And it's no type of direction of where she's going. She just rants, and it's delusional. Cardi said some important things, and I don't feel like reading all that, but she said that Nicki needs help. Basically, she needs help. She needs to lay off the drugs and everything like that. Whatever the case is, I don't know. I want to see bars, but can you imagine if we got some songs from Nicki, some songs from Cardi, what that would be for the culture? That would be just almost on the level as Kendrick and Drake, superstardom wise, as female rappers. So that's what I want to see. Shut up with all the Twitter talk. Shut up with all the kids talk. Just go into the studio. Give us some bars. Put out a diss record. I heard JT is supposed to put out a diss record on Friday. That's cool. So respond. Be where you at. We want to hear you too. Get back at Cardi. That's what we want. Y'all are both rappers. This is hip hop. Go ahead, settle in the booth, because y'all Twitter's like, the thing with me is y'all do all that tweeting and then you take it down. I'm not gonna stoop down to that level. What you did, all the endorsements that y'all have and everything, y'all are talking about children. Do you think any businesses are gonna want to deal with you? Why not just put it in a song? I mean, since you don't care anyway. But y'all let me know in the comments who you think would win. Do you think that Cardi would win? Do you think Nicki would win? That's what we want to see. Shut up the Twitter talk. Let's hear what y'all got. But anyway, let me move on to the next thing.